Hi there, my name is Mike Montgomery, and today I'm going to be using this giant slab of wood to make a coffee table just like this on Modern Builds. So this slab of wood has a little bit of a story behind it. Let me tell you, a few weeks ago whenever I was at my local sawmill picking up all of the walnut slabs for this table right here, I came across these. The guys at the sawmill basically said that there was the guy that dropped these off. He had made a bunch of Shishugibon tables with them, and since then they had warped because he made them when they were way too green. And now that they are completely dry, I'm gonna be able to take a router jig, flatten it back out, and see what's underneath this char. If it's fresh wood, cool, I'll oil it up and make an awesome table out of it. If it's still got that char on it, then I will do another round of burning on it, so it'll be a really cool Shishugibon hairpin leg table. So we're gonna play this one by ear, see how it goes, so follow along.
So to start my router sled jig, I needed to make a frame that went around the whole sled. Then I needed to get my sled level. Now this piece of wood is really warped, so I had to use shims all the way around it to make sure it wouldn't move. And once I had it as level as I could get, I cut legs out of a piece of 4x4, and these are what's going to hold up the frame that I just built. And I just attached one leg to each corner. Now what these legs do are determine how high the rails are, which in turn determine how thick the slab is. And here I'm making a really simple sled out of some scrap plywood to help guide the router. And I'm attaching some guides to help minimize the play left to right across the sled. And once I was done, I could route a groove across the sled using one of the edges as a fence. And after I had that groove cut, I could then do my first pass across the sled, which really didn't take off much meat. Now because I had to make multiple passes, what I did was take off the legs, cut them shorter, and then do multiple passes, because whenever I shortened the legs, it would make the router cut deeper, essentially. And I did this multiple times to get the whole slab flat.
So I've been cutting away at this slab for a while now, and I have kind of figured out what I want to do design-wise. There's fresh wood right underneath the char, so on the top and the bottom it will be fresh, clean, oiled wood. But what I'm gonna do is keep the burn on the sides as well as in this cutout section. I think it's gonna have a really, really cool contrast, and I think it's gonna look awesome. So all I've gotta do now is do one more pass, I think, on the router sled on this side. Then I can flip it over and flatten out the bottom. Let's do it.
So now with one side completely finished, I had a reference for flat. So I just flipped it over, didn't need to shim it because it was already flat, and then I could work the bottom. And now that I had the second side flat, I had to sand everything. First with a belt sander, and then all the way up to 1200 grit. Once the top was sanded nice, I flipped it over and positioned my legs.
So believe it or not, I've never actually used hairpin legs before. I've always wanted to, but for some reason just haven't. But this project is perfect for it. These legs are gonna pair awesome with this raw sort of industrial slab that I have and give it that mid-century modern edge that I always have to my projects. The set I'm using is a 16-inch set by a company called Industrial by Design. They're a super cool company that makes all sizes and shapes of hairpin legs. And the coolest thing about them is that they sell on Amazon. So if you're a Prime member like I am, you can get these things in 2 days, which is crazy. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave the link to this set in the description as well as in my written article. So make sure and check them out, and if you get a pair, make sure and let them know that Mike sent you.
To attach the legs, all I had to do was drill a couple pilot holes and then use some screws. That's it. And for a finish, I used a natural Danish oil. I really love this stuff because it soaks into the wood and hardens instead of sits on top, and it looks great. Once I had the top as well as the sides oiled, I was done.
So that is all there is to it. Now this table turned out really, really neat. There is all kinds of different color variances in the wood. The grain is going all crazy and I love it. It is really, really neat. So I know I'm gonna get a few questions. What kind of wood is it? I don't know. I wish I did. The guys at the sawmill told me it was elm, but the more I worked with it, I thought it was pine maybe? I don't know. But then again, it had sections where it was so hard, I don't think it could be pine. So if anyone knows, leave a comment and maybe we can figure it out. If you like this project, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. That lets me know what kind of projects y'all are into and what you might want to see next. If you have any questions, leave a comment. I try and get to all of those. And if you want to see what I'm up to during the week, don't forget to follow me on Instagram. That is my social media of choice and where I post most often. Don't forget to check out my written article for a little extra info and step-by-step directions. Thanks again to Industrial by Design for these legs, and we'll see you next week on Modern Builds.